welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Tina Zink and I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up! And I am in Nova Scotia, Canada, and welcome to my channel. Today's video is by request because in my last video I demonstrated the pop-out technique and I demonstrated 2 Halloween cards, and at the end I showed a Christmas card, a different version using that pop-out technique, and I received lots of comments and emails. Could you please demonstrate how I made that Christmas card, because it was also a landscape card, whereas the 2 that I demonstrated in my last video were portrait. So I'm happy to do that for you. I'm going to make 2 cards in this video, both using the Ornamental Envelopes stamp set, and a portrait and a landscape Christmas card featuring the pop-out technique. So let's get stamping. Okay, so I am going to give a quick rundown of the measurements for this card. So I am going to first stamp on a piece of Whisper White, and this is going to be the liner inside the card. So I have cut this down to measure 8 1/4 by 5 1/4, and I'm going to put some measurements on it. So I'm using our Stampin' Grid, and I'm just lining it up in the corner. And I'm going to take a pencil and a ruler, and I'm going to mark up first the center of the card, which instead of 4 1/4, it's going to be 4 1/8. So that is this mark here, and I like using the grid paper because I can make sure my ruler is straight. So I'm just lightly drawing a pencil mark. And now I want to do half of each section on the outside. So half of this would be between the 2 and the 2 1/8, so 2 1/16. So I'm going to draw a line up there. Oops. And then just spin this around and do the same thing. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see the pencil marks on the camera because they are pretty faint. But hopefully you can. And those lines are just going to help guide for the stamping. So here's the stamps that I'm using, Ornamental Envelopes, and there are coordinating dies for this. I'm not going to use the dies on this card, just the ornament stamps. I might use some of the other stamps too, not sure yet. So usually if I'm making this pop-out technique card, I'm making my card so that it is portrait like this. And when you're using a landscape design, which I'm doing for this card, you want to make sure that your paper is up and down like this. So I'm going to take my stamps, get them on a block, and I'm going to emboss this image in gold. All right, so I am stamping to make sure I have at least one of those ornaments on the pencil line. I'm going to stamp this one just down just a little bit. Okay, so I've gone ahead and sprinkled on some gold embossing powder and just set those with the heat tool. But I've decided I'm going to go ahead and make another card so that it is portrait, just to show you the difference, especially if you didn't catch my last video. And I already had some paper pre-measured because I was planning on making more of these cards because I'm going to use some of these for my own Christmas cards this year. So now I'm going to line up my ornaments on the line going down versus where I lined it up with the lines going across for my landscape. And this time I'm going to add 3 of these across the card. All right, I am pulling in Christmas Gleaming stamp set because I want to stamp this holly. And I'm going to stamp it down here on the line, just like that, because I want that to pop out as well. I'm not sure if I need a holly on this one, to be honest. I'm going to leave that one as is. And same thing, heat emboss it. Now to color these, I'm going to use my water painters and my ink pads just because that's such a fast way to color. So I'm going to speed this up while I do that. Okay, so now that I've gotten this fully colored and I stamped 3 of the little ornaments along the top, which is this image right here, and I also did that on this card too, and I added my branches. Probably put my rhinestones on too soon, but that's all right. So now what I want to do is I'm going to bring in Peaceful Boughs and I'm going to stamp Season's Greetings right on this line because I want that to pop out as well. So what I'm going to do is take my real red marker and I'm just going to add red to the Seasons, and then I'm going to take Old Olive and put that on Greetings. And this is one of my favorite ways to use my stamps, is coloring directly with my markers. I love how we can omit certain parts of the stamp, but I also love how you get those different colors on the one image so easily. It's just so much fun. And when you use your markers on your stamps, quite often the ink will dry before you're finished using your markers. So what you want to do is huff on your stamp because the moisture in your breath will re-moisten that ink. So I've huffed, and I'm going to stamp it right on this crease line. So not quite in the center, right about there. And see how I get the 2 colors? So much fun. I'm going to go ahead and erase my pencil markings. You want to be careful when you're using your eraser on embossing because it can remove that embossing. So just go very, very lightly around that. Now for the fun pop out part. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this in half and get a good crease. And then I'm going to fold this corner up to the middle, or sorry, this edge to the middle, and do the same thing with this edge. Bring it right up to the center. So this is exactly how I made the cards in my previous pop out video. But this time we're doing it landscape and with the ornaments. Okay. So make sure you get your good creases. And now what I want to do is do my cutting. So I'm going to pop out this ornament, and I can pop out this one. I'm going to do these 3 and this one here. So what I'm going to do is fold it that way. And you can go as long or as short as you want, as high as you want. You just want to make sure that your lines on each side are the same in length. I think I'm going to leave that one. I'm going to cut this one. Okay, and then I want to cut out my Season's Greetings. I'm going to go this way. So I want this one to be longer and more narrow. And I also want to cut my holly, so my holly pops out as well. Okay, so now that I have my cut marks, all I'm going to do is fold back on the tabs of where I've cut and just put another good crease in them. Fold that and fold the tab. And you can also see if your cutting is too short or too long. Like I can tell this one I need to cut it up a little bit longer. It's because it's a little bit shorter than the opposite side. Fold it over. Score. And then we have the 2 on this side. And again, that one could be a little bit longer. Okay, so now it's time to put some adhesive on there. So I'm going to open this up and I'm going to add some tear and tape on the 2 outside edges, not the center. And then I have a regular card base, which is 8.5 by 5.5. So then when it's folded, it's 4 1/4 by 5.5. And I've already got that stamped, and then I'm just going to glue this and put it right inside my card base. Here's my card base, and I have just stamped the ornaments and colored them exactly the same way. I've added some red rhinestones and a regular rhinestone here, and then the sentiment is from the Peaceful Boughs. So I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to pick this up, and I'm going to line it up and center it inside that card base. Okay, so push down. And then when I open it, this middle part comes up. So I've still got my W. And then I'm going to pop these ones out. And then I pop this one in. Just get that a little fold here. So that one gets popped in, and then this one's going to get popped out. So I'm going to close that, so everything's going to get folded on the crease. So now when my card is closed, it looks all beautiful, and then when I open it, it's got that really fun 3D look to it with the holly, the ornaments, and I like how that Season's Greetings is tucked right in the center. I just think that is so, so fun. I mean, to get a card like that, you probably wouldn't think that it was going to have such a fun pop out on the inside. All right, so let's move on to this one. So this is going to be a card in portrait. So just like the last card, I'm going to fold it in half and then bring up the edge to the middle and the edge to the middle. Get those good creases in there. So I have my W, and I'm going to start on the middle. I'm going to cut in the center of that ornament, and I'm going to fold it this way. I'm going to cut this little one, and you want to cut where the stamps are on the line. So I think I'm just going to leave it at that. And then on here, I'm going to cut this one. Okay, so this one on the end, remember that one gets poked out. The one on the center line gets poked in. So just pull those down, and then the one on the outside again gets poked out. Like so. We'll put our adhesive on. Okay, now I have already gone ahead and stamped the front of this card, so very similar to this one. The difference is, of course, this one's portrait, and this sentiment I'm going to stamp on the inside, and I've got the Season's Greetings on the outside. I should have done the 2 markers on that one, but I forgot. Anyways, we're going to open that up, and then just line this up right in the center. And then when you open it, this one's going to get popped out, and this one's going to get popped in, and this one gets popped out. So then I have my 3D ornaments, and I'm going to stamp my sentiment I'm not sure. I don't know that this is gonna fit. Let's see. It's a bit big. Could probably do it. Let's do it. The outside and the inside with the pop out and the pop in. And the little one popped out here. Love, love, love these cards. And I have also stamped my envelopes to coordinate, and I love this stamp. It's part of the same Ornamental Envelopes, and I also embossed. So these are going to be really special cards in the mail. The third envelope is for the original Christmas card that I made, and this was the one that I showed in my last video. And I used Designer Series paper, a different layout on the front, and I used Fairy Vanilla paper, and then that's the pop out. So it's very similar to this one. The difference is I have 3 rows, and on this one I have 2 rows. You see that? And I also put the holly on the opposite side too. So, and of course the sentiment's different. So it's a lot of fun to play around with the designs. And then the Halloween ones that I did in the last video have all the bats popped out. I'm going to get these in the mail this week so that they arrive in time for Halloween. And then here's the other one that I made with the fun 3D bird cages. I was happy to oblige the requests to show you how I created the Christmas landscape card, which of course again was this one. Really, really pretty.